and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Then let's get the show started and talk about what's going on Friday. So let's get serious here. We here at Heartlands Media believe in the protection of whistleblowers, people who speak truth to power, and again, preserving free speech. And the sad fact is that right now we are witnessing the fact that, again, Stephen Donziger, a lawyer who went to bat for the native tribes in Ecuador, he stood up against a Chevron oil company that was polluting those communities and those ecosystems in Ecuador. Now, he beat Chevron. Chevron committed a horrible crime. And what was Stephen Donziger's reward? Almost now, going on now, 2 years. 2 years of being under house arrest at the behest of a private corporation. And again, this whole entire scene right now, what he's going through, is a huge injustice. And again, it calls into question that anyone else that might be able to beat one of these large fossil fuel industries, what will be their punishment? They're trying to make Stephen Donziger into an example. And recently he posted a short video on his Twitter page where apparently by October 1st, he's going to be sentenced. So let's hear it from him. And I think now more than ever, we need to keep on continuing to hashtag free Stephen Donziger, hashtag free Donziger. He should not be under house arrest. Let's hear this video. And again, we must support him now more than ever.
Hey, everybody. I'm on my 765th day of house arrest in New York City. I want to tell you a little bit about what's happening, where I think this is heading. I have a sentencing on October 1st in Manhattan. If you're in New York, please support me. Come to court that day. There's going to be a rally at 8:30 in the morning. Then we're all going to go into the courtroom where Judge Preska is going to sentence me. It's 500 Pearl Street, Lower Manhattan. At the sentencing, we are going to ask Judge Preska to let me be free, to release me. The longest sentence ever given a lawyer in New York, convicted of my level of offense, is 90 days of home detention. And I've already served several times that amount prior to trial. Okay, this is obviously retaliation by Chevron and the Chevron law firm that prosecuted me after the charges were rejected by the regular federal prosecutor. So we are going in with good faith, and we're going to ask Judge Preska to do the right thing. Secondly, if she puts me in jail, and she can for a period of up to 6 months, the case does not end. We have a great appeal. Because of your support, we have a new law firm that's going to handle the appeal, Zuckerman Spader, along with Nathalie Segovia, who's one of the leading water protector indigenous rights lawyers in the United States. And I'm honored to have these new lawyers come in to handle an appeal that we think has a number of winning issues. And I'm very hopeful that ultimately Judge Preska's conviction of me without a jury will be overturned. Third, if you want to help, go to our website. We just revamped it. It's called freedonziger.com. Contribute if you can to the Legal Defense Fund. We rely on a large volume of low and modest contributions. Give what you can. It costs a lot of money to pay lawyers, to pay expenses, and to get through this and to deal with what they're throwing at me. Again, freedonziger.com. Please help us out. Hang in there with me. And I'm going to be reporting back directly to everybody frequently between now and October 1st. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for the solidarity.
All right, so there it is. October 1st, he's going to face a sentencing. And again, this should not happen in the first place. This is a huge injustice. And this is the kind of thing where you think, I don't know, where are the progressive lawmakers who are all for the Green New Deal and supporting social justice and human rights? Where's AOC and the rest of the DNC squad members? What's happening to Stephen Donziger is, again, terrible. And I'm speechless at this point that, again, he's been now almost under 2 years under house arrest. And for what? Helping out the people of Ecuador? Standing up against a large fossil fuel industry? This is, again, an example of how corrupt our system is and how powerful our corporations have gotten at this point to where they can do stuff like this. And they're trying to make him into an example so that others will remain silent or never, ever again, dare I say it, win against another fossil fuel corporation decides to pollute another indigenous community or somewhere even here in the United States. How many times have we covered on Heartlands Media about these pipelines failing, about these oil rigs leaking? These industries are also leading to this horrifying disaster of climate change. And yet here we are right now witnessing this firsthand on what happens when someone does the right thing. Last I checked in the United States, we always ran by this motto of, if you do the right thing, you'll be rewarded. But I forgot. Corporations own our democracy. And because of that, they have the final say. So if you do right, if you stand up to their corruption, if you stand up to their crimes, you're the one that goes to jail, not them. Daniel.
Yeah, so I did some research on this a couple of weeks ago before we got to this point with this case. So an interesting thing in all this is that oil companies are trying to use this case with Steve not just as retaliation, although that's a big part of it. He put them up with having to owe $3 billion for damages, which they don't like. Neither do their shareholders, for that matter. But they have been using him as a means to disparage the case that he brought against them. If Steve is successfully put in prison for the things that Chevron has said that he's done, they can literally just wipe their hands of the entire $3 billion. That's at least what they're legally planning to do. That's why they're going after him so hard. That's why they pulled out all the stops, because it's worth $3 billion to them to have this person not be credible. The person that made this case, this record-breaking case of $3 billion in restitution, if he is in jail under the U.S. law, there's some stuff that they can do through their lawyers where they can just go, well, that entire case in Ecuador didn't exist.
Yeah. And now, again, we all need to be, again, on social media and also standing in solidarity with Steven Donziger. If this can happen to him, it can happen to anybody else. And we're seeing this happen under a Democratic administration. Last I checked, I thought Biden was running on this whole notion, this whole campaign of returning the soul back to the country and also protecting free speech and the right of whistleblowers to speak out. But wait, I forgot. Joe Biden was also vice president in the Obama administration. And what was happening in the Obama administration? A lot of whistleblowers were being punished because they were speaking out against injustice and corruption. We can't remain silent on this. And also, this should show all of you right now that all these politicians that made these promises about, standing up for the environment, standing up for journalism, standing up for whistleblowers, they're silent on this. Where's AOC at? Oh, she's right now trying to convince people not to recall Governor Newsom. Brilliant, constructive, brilliant. Way to be constructive, AOC. Really, I'm speechless at what they're wasting.
Hey, but Kit, she's doing the important things like turning up music when people are asking her questions.
Yeah, and again,
it takes a lot of time.
Again, look, everyone that's watching, if you're on social media, if you know anyone that lives in New York State, if you know any activists or community organizers that want to help out with Steven Donziger, October 1st, he's going to need you. We all need to stand in solidarity with him and support him. It doesn't even matter if you don't live in New York State. We need to be sharing this with everyone right now because he must not be put on the chopping block. He must not be made into an example so that the corporations put on this entire environment of fear. What we need to do is make him an example for more people to follow so that we're not living in this corporate nightmare. Because if we continue down this path, it's going to get worse. The elite will be the ones dictating how things run. We live in a democracy. Let's fight for it. Let's take it back.